Big week in AI, and not just incremental updates, but moves that redefine how we'll use the web, build apps, and compress data for models. OpenAI just launched ChatGPT Atlas, a full browser built around ChatGPT that can actually act on your behalf. Google's AI Studio got massive upgrades, turning natural language prompts into working apps with vibe coding. And DeepSeek unveiled a new OCR system that compresses long documents into compact visual tokens, letting models process huge contexts more efficiently. Together, these three stories sketch a picture of AI moving deeper into our everyday tools: browsers that think, platforms that code, and systems that read the world faster than ever. Let's start with OpenAI's ChatGPT Atlas, their boldest hardware-adjacent product since the macOS app. Atlas is a standalone web browser now available worldwide on macOS for free, Plus, Pro, and Go users. Business users get it in beta, and enterprise and edu admins can enable it manually. Versions for Windows, iOS, and Android are coming later. Once you open it, you log into ChatGPT and can import your bookmarks, save passwords, and browsing history if you want. The entire browsing experience is threaded with ChatGPT. It's in the address bar, sidebar, and new tab page, letting you search or ask questions seamlessly without copy-pasting between tabs. The new tab interface feels like a blend between a search engine and a personal workspace. You can type a question or URL, and the results integrate with tabs for web links, images, video, and news. Atlas introduces something called browser memories. These are optional and designed to let ChatGPT remember context from sites you visited. Imagine it recalling job listings you checked last week, or summarizing a set of articles you were researching over time. You have fine-grained control. You can clear individual memories, delete your entire browsing history, which erases related memories, or toggle visibility per site directly from the address bar. There's also incognito mode, which keeps both chats and browsing sessions from being saved or linked to your account. Importantly, OpenAI says that by default, browsing data is not used to train models. You must explicitly opt in via the Include Web Browsing, toggle, and data controls. And if a website blocks GPTBot, its data won't be used for training, even if you've opted in. Parental controls from ChatGPT carry over, and admins can disable memories or agent mode for kids or managed accounts. But the feature everyone's talking about is agent mode. This is where ChatGPT becomes interactive. It can open tabs, click buttons, fill out forms, compare products, and even complete purchases. In short, it's your personal browsing assistant that can take actions, not just generate text. The feature launches in preview for Plus, Pro, and business users today. OpenAI emphasizes that agent mode runs inside a safety sandbox. Agents can't execute code, download files, install extensions, or access your computer's file system or other apps. They also automatically pause on sensitive sites, like banks or healthcare portals. You can even run agents while logged out of ChatGPT to further isolate sessions. Despite the safeguards, OpenAI is transparent about risks. They warn that agents can still make mistakes or fall for malicious, hidden instructions embedded on web pages, the AI equivalent of phishing. The company says it's invested heavily in red teaming, adaptable guardrails, and live monitoring, but also admits no defense is foolproof. Still, the goal is clear: to make the web less about clicking and more about conversing and delegating. The result feels like the early shape of an agentic web, one where tasks are done through instructions, not navigation. This move also has huge strategic implications. Chrome still dominates with about 3.8 billion users, but the notion of a browser that actually understands and acts on content shook the market. Alphabet stock dipped roughly 3% after the Atlas announcement on October 26, 2025. Google is already weaving Gemini into Chrome, but OpenAI's approach suggests a future where your browser is the assistant, blending memory, reasoning, and action into one surface. On the Google side, AI Studio is turning into a power console for developers and no-coders alike. The latest updates, announced between October 18 to 21, 2025, include a unified playground where you can switch between Gemini, Gen Media, now supporting VO 3.1, text-to-speech, and live models without leaving the workspace. There's a redesigned homepage that acts as a control center, plus maps grounding, so models can understand and use geographic data. like letting an AI reason about proximity or routes. A new rate limits dashboard lets you monitor real-time API usage, which is a huge quality-of-life feature for production developers. Several upgrades streamline workflow. You can now save system instructions so you don't have to re-enter prompt scaffolds every time, and the API key page has been rebuilt to support grouping, renaming, and secure secret variables, making it easier to manage credentials in collaborative environments. Google also unveiled modular superpowers, plugin-style features that enhance model outputs or give Gemini deeper reasoning or retrieval capabilities. The most eye-catching feature, though, is vibe coding. This lets you describe an app in plain language, make a budgeting dashboard with dark mode, and export to PDF. And Gemini builds the prototype UI, back-end logic, and connections. You can then tweak the layout, edit text, or adjust behavior directly through chat commands. Once ready, you can deploy to Google Cloud Run in one click and get a live URL instantly. There's even an "I'm feeling lucky" prompt suggester for creative starters. Google's clearly positioning AI Studio as a one-stop shop from idea to deployment, and there's heavy speculation that these upgrades are paving the way for Gemini 3.0, which appears to be entering public testing. It's a direct play to keep developers building inside Google's ecosystem, a counter to OpenAI's expanding agentic footprint. Finally, DeepSeek's OCR research adds a technical powerhouse to the week's lineup. Their new system, DeepSeek-OCR, uses what they call optical 2D mapping to compress long textual contexts into visual tokens, basically transforming large documents into compact visual grids that language models can read more efficiently. The system pairs a deep encoder with a DeepSeek 3B MOE-A570M decoder, and the performance numbers are striking. Around 96 to 97% OCR precision at a 9 to 10 times compression ratio, about 90% at 10 to 12ths, and still roughly 60% accuracy at 20 chems compression. Architecturally, Deep Encoder chains window attention and global attention with a 16 times convolutional compressor to cut down token counts while preserving layout. It supports multiple resolutions so that even large, detailed images, think scan textbooks or technical diagrams, don't overwhelm GPU memory. On benchmarks, it beats GOT OCR 2.0, which uses 256 tokens per page, while using just 100 vision tokens, and it outperforms Miner U 2.0, which averages over 6,000 tokens while staying under 800 tokens. DeepSeek's modes scale by document type. Slides need 64 tokens, books and reports around 100, and complex newspapers up to 800, their so-called Gundam mode. The encoder has roughly 380 million parameters, and the MOE decoder runs with 570 million active parameters. DeepSeek claims throughput of 200,000 pages per day on a single A140G GPU, and at cluster scale, 20 nodes or 160 GPUs, it can process about 33 million pages daily. Training data included 30 million PDF pages across 100 languages, with a heavy emphasis on Chinese and English, 25 million combined, plus synthetic datasets, 10 million diagrams, 5 million chemical formulas, and 1 million geometric figures. The model can parse tables, charts, chemical notation, and multi-language text, making it practical from research archives to LLM pre-training data. They open-sourced both code and weights at github.com/deepseek-/DeepSeek-OCR, inviting replication and improvement. So what does all this mean? In 1 week, we've seen 3 different visions of how AI could evolve. OpenAI's Atlas is about agentic browsing, the assistant that acts within your web life. Google's AI Studio is about accelerated creation, making app development conversational and deployable in a click. And DeepSeek's OCR points toward compressed intelligence, enabling models to hold and reason over vastly more context without blowing up compute. Each breakthrough nudges us closer to a world where AI doesn't just generate answers, but remembers, builds, and perceives. The trade-offs around privacy, safety, and control will only get sharper, but one thing's certain: the web, the workspace, and even the document are all becoming AI-native surfaces. That's your wrap for this week. The web's getting smarter, faster, and a lot more alive. See you in the next one.